In this morning marketing tip, Marshall Marketing Mastery, I'm going to teach you the one specific concept you need to understand in order to make your marketing, your recruiting efforts the most effective things in the world. All that and more in this morning marketing tip. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is Greg Gomez III, founder, CEO, diplomat extraordinaire of the MLMBusinessBlueprint.com with another morning marketing tip to help you improve the performance of your business, adding dozens of people in your business on a weekly basis. This one's a good one. This one's really important. As you know, I'm a big fan of martial arts, right? Stuff like that. I love Kung Fu. I love Kung Fu. I'm like Kung Fu Panda, and I got as big as Kung Fu Panda for a while. One of the things that I learned in martial arts, one of the things that I see people doing in marketing that's a direct correlation is, and I'm going to tell you a story. You know I like stories. They're always good. So I got into my martial arts class many years ago, and I went in there, high off Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan movies. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I want to learn how to do all these kind of flips and all this other kind of business, and I'm going to be super cool and do the shadowless kick like Jet Li and all this other kind of stuff, right? Or the one-inch punch. And what wound up happening is I get in there and I see all these techniques. I mean, this school had so much diversity in techniques. It had all the animal forms, it had Tai Chi, it had, ground techniques, it had all kinds of stuff. And I wanted to learn them all. And in my pursuit of devouring all of the knowledge I possibly could to make myself as well-rounded a martial artist as I possibly could, I started learning every technique. I wanted to learn them all. And as a result of that, what wound up happening is we would get into sparring rounds. We actually would spar with each other, no pads, no nothing. We would just actually go at each other at about 30 to 40%, and then we would escalate as we got into higher belt levels. Well, I would try to use every single technique that I got in order to win these sparring matches. Well, what I ultimately learned, or what my instructor wound up pulling me aside because he saw how frustrated I was getting because I wasn't able to get any techniques down at all. And he basically says to me, he says, no, here's what I want you to do. You have your core training, and then you have like these extra classes you can pay for and take to learn additional training, additional forms, additional katas, additional whatever, right? Different animal styles, whatever. And I was devouring everyone I could. They had 2 or 3 available a month, and I got every single one of them. This is how I got into sales and marketing, because I had to pay for the schooling. So I would take every single one of them, and when we would get into sparring, I would try to implement every single one of these sparring techniques, but I would gain no mastery over any of them. And my instructor, I'll never forget the day, he pulls me aside, he says, Greg, can I tell you something? He says, I see in you the potential and the desire to be a great martial artist, and you will be, if you get this one concept down. I'm going to share this concept with you because I think it's probably one of the most important marketing lessons you can ever learn. Here's what he told me. He said, Greg, you can spend your life studying 8,000 different martial techniques, and by gaining mastery of none of them, you actually will be ineffective when it comes down time to use them. He says, or what you can do, you notice how I just pulled this pencil out of nowhere? Magic. He says, or you can master a few techniques and repeat those techniques 8,000 times and eventually get to the point where you can use those techniques to defend yourself every single time. And I thought about this, and I said, okay, and that's pretty awesome. So I started to implement that. I reserved myself to 5 specific techniques. So I'm just going to use these 5 techniques. They're the only 5 techniques I'm going to use until I've mastered them, or until I've gotten good enough to use them, and then I will start to implement other techniques as I go along. Well, I've told you the story before of my tiger tail sweep. If you don't remember the story, it's basically where you're standing and someone steps in, you kneel on one knee, and your back leg comes around and sweeps the 2 legs out from underneath the person. They land on their back, and if you do it just right, it knocks the air out of them. It's awesome. Best sound in the world of martial arts is when a person loses their breath. It's great. My favorite thing in the world. I'm a peaceful person. However, it still gets my jollies off knowing that I knocked the air out of somebody. It's awesome. Anyways, okay. So I decided I want to learn how to be able to do this technique, and I did it over and 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 over again. And what wound up happening to me is people knew I was going to do it. We're sparring the same people. They know what the 5 techniques I'm going to be doing are, and they would prepare for it, and they would be ready for it. And it was funny. Everybody would gauge how good my tiger tail sweeps would get by the bruises on people's legs, where they were and how low they got. And eventually, when I left no bruises and it was just sweeping people, then that's when I knew I'd gotten the technique down fairly well. Another thing was kicks. We'll talk about that another time. But long story short is, or medium-sized, is that eventually after doing this technique over and over and over and over and over again, and even with my opponents knowing what technique I was going to be doing, I eventually started to see success with it. You understand? Now, I then became known in our school as a person who was good at tiger tail sweeps. I was always going to throw a tiger's tail sweep, and everyone was afraid of my tiger tail sweeps because I always pulled them off, except for one person, Mike Williams. You know, I love you, Mike, if you're watching this. Well, one day we went to this thing called Bloody Sunday in Denver, where we actually sparred with a bunch of other martial artists from other schools. Now, these were people who had never seen my techniques before. These were people who had never sparred with me. So I started using these techniques. Now, mind you, in my school, we were known as a brawling school. I had got tremendous results and would be able to drop people with my kicks and my tiger tail sweeps and my combination setups, my 5-technique combination setup. Well, when we went to Denver and we started sparring other folks from other schools, I just tested I tested the second degree black. And we started sparring other folks, and this was the first time that I'd really sparred a lot of these other people. No, actually, this was first degree black, excuse me. Not that it's important to you, but it's important to me. I wound up sparring a bunch of other people at my level, and wound up wiping the floor with them. But, you know, truth be told, they really weren't that good. And then I started sparring people that were a little bit above my level, second degree black belts, third degree black belts, and still, we wound up wiping the floor with them. And then I started sparring some of the folks in the master level who had just tested the master level and held my own with them. They were able to pounce on me, but I sparred one master in particular who is a phenomenal martial artist, probably one of the best martial artists I've seen in my life. And I was able to tiger tail sweep him 3 times. In fact, I got it on video where he's walking by and I sweep and it looks like he was a flower plucked. He just dropped straight down behind a couple of the guys that were sparring with. It was awesome. One of the proudest moments in my martial career that I accomplished as a result of staying diligent to just a few techniques. So great for you, Greg. Wonderful martial arts story. You can probably see the correlation I'm going to make here to your marketing, but this is exactly it. How does this affect your network marketing business, your recruiting, your home business, or internet-based business? Here's the thing. We're always looking for the latest, greatest marketing techniques, strategies, traffic sources, all kinds of whiz-bang stuff to be the magic bullet to help us improve the performance of our businesses. What winds up happening, though, as a result of it, is we look for 8,000 different techniques to fix our one problem. Here's the thing, my friend. If you want to be truly successful in your business, long-term results, and you want to make this year the biggest, best year that you've ever accomplished ever, then the most important lesson that you need to take and accomplish and achieve is by picking a few specific marketing strategies and mastering those. For example, I'm not big on SEO. I've never been big on SEO. I know some folks in the industry swear up and down by it, and I think it's a viable strategy. Not for me. I love paid traffic. It's always been my favorite medium. I always get the biggest results from paid traffic, and it always takes me the least amount of time to accomplish those results in paid traffic. So I do paid traffic. I'm pretty good at paid traffic, especially pay-per-click, I should say. We're getting into other avenues of paid traffic like solo ads and media buys and those other kind of things. Things I'd never done before because pay-per-click had always been so so worth the time investment, such a high ROI for the amount of time that we invested. Let's just put it that way. But now I have staff that we've built in for this infrastructure over the last year in order to take care of our SEO and to do a lot of our other marketing tactics that we haven't done before. So what I would suggest to you is whatever that marketing strategy is, whether it's SEO or Facebook or I don't know, whatever else is out there, paid traffic, even, you know, belly-to-belly marketing, if that's your thing. Whatever that technique is, that strategy is, don't just get good at it, go get great at it. Get mastery of it. Do everything you possibly can on that specific focus. Go buy every course you possibly can, learn everything you possibly can, get mentorship in everything you possibly can for that one specific item. Gain mastery in that item. And yes, at first people are going to see your tiger tail sweep. They're going to see you telegraphing your movement, right? Your marketing is going to telegraph your intent, and it's going to get minimal, if any, kind of results whatsoever when you first start. That's part of the learning process, my friend. That's part of gaining mastery, doing those few techniques 8,000 times and gaining mastery of it. And you will be blown away at the power of the focus that you deliver and the results you get from by focusing on this one strategy, this one technique, and gaining mastery in that one thing. Everything else will just come into play and align itself once you have that one level of mastery. You understand that? So again, the note for today and the tip for today. Don't try to be a master of 8,000 techniques. It's impossible. Focus rather on a handful of great techniques, get great at doing those techniques, and then consistently do them day in, day out to net your biggest results. When you do this, you then shall achieve martial marketing mastery. How'd you like that? Tied all the way back to the beginning. Now, I want to know, what do you want to get good at? What's the thing that you feel is the most important activity that you should concentrate on that's going to make this year your biggest year yet? Comment below. Write that down below. And as always, like and +1 above, and then subscribe to the right. I appreciate you. I know you could have been anywhere in the world over the last 10.5 minutes. You chose to be here with me, and I appreciate you because of it. Now take this information. Don't just let it sit idly in your brain, because when we sit idly, it's another form of fear, paralysis, inactivity. It's just fear manifesting itself. Don't be afraid, my friend. The universe, the world, is waiting for you to command it. Take action, go command it, go close, go recruit. I'll talk to you soon.